Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Chuffing sunshines and sweethearts, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Chuffing Big L Show. Now, stick around here for a bloody treat. Now, do not adjust your Chuffing television set. You might think you've accidentally gone onto the Chuffing wrong channel. It really is me. It's not Chuffing Bill and Ben, Flower Pot Man. This is my little Chuffing number that I'm wearing today. The birds are tweeted. The sun's been shining. I feel a little glimmer of hope that is spring on the flaming way. Away with the freezing cold chuffing temperatures and all that chuffing Wim Hof stuff. And into basking in the sunlight and the bloody blue skies with birds tweeting, you know what I mean? Now, today, I was actually originally going to do a review of something else, but I've decided to bring this little bit and bob forward because I'll explain why. Right, what we're doing is this. Now, you've seen this on a previous episode. This is my dad's old decanter. And I remember, I think I told you, he used to have this in his bedroom. So it's a great sentimental value and significance to me. I love this bloody thing. And now I have it in my bedroom. So it's gone down. It's been passed down the genetic chuffing line, you know what I mean? Family bloody heirloom. Courtesy of young Arthur, you know what I mean? But he told me many times, he says, I'd be watching like bloody reruns of bloody Sweeney. Or Last of bloody Summer Wine or something, Antiques bloody Roadshow or something. Moto GP, and he'd have one or two or three of these, you know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing. Now, it may look like it's full. The reason I brought this forward is because if I don't, I'm going to chuffing suck the lot, because I'm having a little chuffing snifter on the night time, you know what I mean? And it may look like it's half full, but you see that bit in the middle there? That's got the golf ball inside. That's just air in a ball. The liquid is going around. So there's not much in there. So in here, I wrote a couple of little chuffing crafty notes down for you. It's Bulleit Bourbon. Now, I've sucked this a few times, and it's actually quite a good thing, because my dad was quite a fan of Bulleit Bourbon. Woodford Reserve, Bulleit Bourbon, Jim Beam Rye, these were some of his favourites. Tin Cup, which I mentioned in another episode. These are some of my dad's chuffing favourites. So it's fitting that I should have this particular kind of whiskey in this whole chuffing vessel, you know what I mean? It's a Kentucky straight whiskey. It's produced in two different distilleries. One of them is called Shelbyville, Kentucky, and another one is in like Lebanon, Kentucky. And it's another one that is owned by Diageo, who owns, I spoke about him before. He owns an old battery. Well, I say he, it's a company. I think it was a merger. I wrote a little bit something down on this other piece of paper if I can find it quickly. Diageo came into existence with a merger between Guinness and Grand Metropolitan. Some of the whiskies that they've got in their stable, this is only a few, this is not even half. Johnny Walker, Lagavulin, Talisker, Oban, Cragganmore, and obviously these American whiskies as well, the Bulleit. It's meant to have a high rye content, 28% mash bill. It's aged for 6 years, so that's pretty decent. And it's a 45% alcohol. I think in some countries it's down to 40, but in the UK it's 45%. It was described, when I did a little bit of research on the bugger, it was described as having a nose that is cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, chuffing creme brulee, brown sugar. Just like a young man should, you know what I mean? The old stones. Apricot, grape and almond. On the palate, rye, dry fruits, sweet spice, toasty and chuffing nutty. But, you know, when I do my reviews, you don't get all that bloody creme brulee bollocks, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, it's sweet, it's dry, it's got a kind of salty type element to it, you know, it's a bit nutty or it's a bit jammy or, you know what I mean? Keep it basic. I'm not that level of competency, you know what I mean? Plus, I think half that stuff, I'm sure the chuffing make it all. You know, Wellington bloody boots and skid stain underpants, stuff like that. What's it talking about? I don't make you want to drink it, does it? Tastes like a chuffing misused bloody frying pan. It's had burnt mushrooms in it or something. Right, so, without further ado, now that I've started chuffing waffling, let's have a little pour. So, you basically, I'm going to have to pour it. And let me adjust this camera. Let me adjust it. I want you to see it at least once. Right, so we'll adjust this. That's as technical as we get on the Big Al Show. You remove the cork at the top, which currently is off camera, to let air into the chuffing system, you know what I mean? And then you turn the tap, And out comes the Bulleit. Bloody bit cute little glasses, these, you know. And I usually take it up to that gold ring just there. I mean, if these glasses were good enough for me, chuffing old man, they're bloody good enough for me, you know what I mean? Pop coat back in. Right, and then we'll pop this back up again. Chuffing Ridley Scott never don't have to bloody do this. I tell you that for chuffing now. Bloody blades on it. Look at it like Harrison Ford. That time when he had that accident with that chuffing revolving doors and fell down a chuffing 5-story staircase, you know what I mean? Ended up looking like me. Don't think he had a pork pie hat on, like. Flower pot hat. Right, let's have a snifter. You can tell it's quite strong, 45%. It's got a bit of a waft to it, you know what I mean? It's got a bit of presence to it. And it is sweet, sugary. And you can smell that spice which is going to be coming off the rye. Gives it that extra kind of spicy kick. But it smells good. It's inviting. It's not off-putting. Occasionally you'll smell a whiskey and it'll put you off. It don't smell too good. But this one, that's saying to me, chuffing get me bloody supped. Stop waffling, get me supped. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, such as sweet starts, let's have a little chuffing waff around the old chuffing salsals. Very, very nice. Quite dry, but it is sweet. Full mouth feel. My mouth now, like I've said, not with all the whiskies you have. This, I can't really do the tears with this. You know when you shake it around and you check the tears for viscosity. But that's got plenty of mouth feel and it feels nice and thick and juicy. It's a chest warmer. You know, it's not like volcanic bloody ash or anything like that, pyroclastic flow or anything, but that's got plenty of heat to it. But you can temper that. Tiny little bit of water. It'd be excellent in a mixer as well. It's a good whiskey. And I've not wrote it down here, and I'm sorry I didn't check. It's not ridiculously expensive. This was a birthday present for me off a chuffing Big Rob, who was on a previous episode. You know chuffing Big Rob. But no, that is really nice. Have another little sniff. Yeah, on the palate, you can taste the rye, that's the spice. It's a little bit fruity. Sweet and spicy is what I'm getting on a basic kind of level. But that's the kind of whiskey I would potentially favour it over Jack Daniels as a session whiskey. Jack Daniels, you have one or two, you've kind of had enough. Well, there's nothing wrong with it, with that kind of banana-y type taste, but this one, I'd be more obliged to have maybe 1, 2 or 3. If that's all we had in the house, and I'd enjoy them. I'd enjoy all 3 of them. So no, that is excellent. So, we've had a little chuffing drink to me old man here. We're going to cook chuffing Lee Maddison, bloody loose as a goose. We're a bloody not long-legged goose, or whatever it is. I can't remember what I was saying. Chantilly lace and a pretty face. And a ponytail hanging down with a wiggle in a walk and a giggle in the talk. That's what makes the world go round, round. I had an old mate called Chuffing Roy Farm used to sing that to me. And that's Big Bopper, who was a contemporary of Chuffing Buddy Holly and all them chuffing characters, you know what I mean? Some good characters in them days. Pre the British, like, kind of blues bone. Right, we'll cut Lee Maddison loose. I think, actually, he's doing the blues. And he's doing a song by the late great Chuffing TBone Walker. He's a bit scared about doing it because he's now that's a follower. The godfather of modern electric guitar, TBone Walker. Big influence on Chuck Berry. Big influence on B.B. King. And even, I think even Django Reinhardt liked him. He was a blues guitar player with jazz leanings. Did a lot of slurs and a lot of Chuck Berry type stuff before Chuck Berry. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you don't chuffing mess it up like a chuffing clown. And we'll see you chuffing later, sunshines and sweethearts.
Hello, I'd like to attempt a song by the late great TBone Walker called Stormy Monday Blues. Thank you. No pressure. Call it Stormy Monday, by Tuesday just as bad. You know they They call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Wednesday's worse, Thursday it's awful sad. You know the eagle flies on Friday, Saturday I go out and play. Eagle flies on Friday, Saturday I go out and play. Ooh. Sunday I go to church, get down on my knees and pray. Now will his Lord have mercy? Will his Lord have mercy on me? Now will his Lord have mercy? Will his Lord have mercy on me? Ooh. Will he find my sweet baby? Bring her home right on me. Now will his Lord have mercy? Will his Lord have mercy on me? Now will his Lord have mercy? Will his Lord have mercy on me? Find my sweet baby, bring her on right on me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, sunshine and stuffy sweet sides. So welcome back. Now, Monsieur Maddison, that chuffing TBone walking effort there, was pretty chuffing good. Some nice little cheeky guitar playing, some halfway decent singing. It had a nice woody, retro chuffing simmer to it, you know what I mean? You didn't try and compete with a big band because you were never going to cut the chuffing mustard. And a slightly odd chuffing final chuffing note at the end, and that kind of slurry type thing. I don't know what pitch it were in. I think it was on a bloody cricket pitch. I don't know about a musical note pitch, but it was somewhere off the bloody radar. But apart from that, chuffing well done. Keep it chuffing up, you're improving. Right, now, basically, faux pas. I just want to get a little bit of something to chuffing slurp while I tell you this quick chuffing little story. Because, you know, we're talking about old manses there, we're talking about chuffing young Archibald, so I'm going to get me some bloody drink just to wet me bloody whistle. Because I've already had a whiskey, you know what I mean? And we're going to have, actually, we're going to carry on in the slightly whiskey vein, although this one, you've heard of whiskey and coke, bourbon and coke, well this one is a, yeah, it's a bloody, fighting with bloody furniture and it's chuffing kicking my ass. Look at that, Samuel Jones with bloody cola. Now Samuel Joe, I don't know if you remember, I think it was episode 2, way back when, we did a programme, it was Samuel Joe's Honey against Shuffing Dad Chronicles on it, and the Samuel Joe's Honey pushed it. Now, they've also done a normal kind of bourbon, like a Shuffing Black Label, which is quite nice, very, very simple, very, very clean and crisp, but it's well edible. It's a decent chuffing nip. Now this one, I've had this a couple of times, because you can get Jack Daniels and Coke, so we'll crack this bloody open. Have a little bloody gulp of this first, and then we'll see if we can chuff and get this bloody story out without bloody forgetting how I'm messing it up, like I chuff and usually do. 5%. Chuffing well tasty. Well tasty. Very, very sweet, but it's quite nice. I'm going to enjoy that. Now, we're talking about my dad. Now, me and my dad, we basically used to go to a lot of gigs. And we've seen a lot of people together over the years. Some big stars, some small stars, and I'll quickly rattle a few off. First, like kind of major. I used to watch some gigs with him in crew, with the rest of the family, like my Uncle Fred and my Aunt Chrissy and stuff like this. We used to watch these local bands in these shuffling clubs. And there were some pretty good acts. Definitely turned me on at an early age in music. Although I think at first, I wanted to be a bit of a bloody drummer. I think I fancied myself just TBone or something. But I'd always, every time we went to one of these bloody clubs in crew, I ended up knocking flaming drinks over. Somebody's bloody pork scratchings ended up on shuffling fly. Of course, chaos. Because I was a little kid, it was like, oh, don't worry about it. I bet inside they were thinking, shuffle little bloody toe rag. Bloody Keith Moon my ass. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we used to do all that. But me and my dad, big people that we watched, Clapton, tons of chuffing sounds, Stones, mainly Clapton and Stones, to be honest. But we have also seen Santana, Winwood. We never got to see Chuffing Shaz and Dave, and that's not a joke, you know, because they were at this festival I'm going to tell you about in a bit. But local bands, we used to go to a particular club quite a lot in Retford called, I think it was called the Clinton Arms. And we used to go, this is when we were both working together, this Chuffing Glass Factory. And we used to go to Clinton Arms in Retford, and we used to, it always used to be advertised because we were blues mad. Still are blues mad, and my dad were blues mad. And it'd say, oh, blues band this, blues band that, in paper or on phone or whatever. So we'd get a taxi, Big Bill's taxi. He's dead now, bless him, but he was a good lad. Used to drive at Middle of the Road half the time. Middle of the road. I said, Bill, what are you driving at Middle of the Road for? It's England, you're meant to be out left. He says, oh, there's too many potholes, I keep damaging my tyres. You know, when we have an head-on collision with a chuffing cement mixer or a bloody 40-foot chuffing truck, I'll remind you about your flaming potholes, you know what I mean? But that was Bill. That's what he were all about. Never come to no harm, you know what I mean? Right, so, yeah, we used to go to Clinton Arms, and we'd have maybe about 5 pints. I think Bombardier was one that we used to suck quite often. We used to suck Bombardier, maybe have a couple of whiskeys. We get up in the morning, go to work. We're chuffing off as chuffing heads, man. You know, we're starting work at 6 o'clock. Plus, that particular establishment, a lot of the people that were in there, a lot of them wore flaming acts like this, and they were chuffing, smoking some chuffing dodgy bloody stuff. You know what I mean? It weren't beer I was smelling. They were chuffing bloody hashish and bloody ganja and bloody pot and all sorts of bloody floating about. And having like bloody psychedelic bloody trips watching these blues bands. All of a sudden, guitar play, you shouldn't have 7 arms, should he? 7 arms and about 28 fingers, you know what I mean? It's just, will make you a good guitar player. Food for thought. On the genetic structures we're moving forward, maybe guitar players should develop more arms so they can play 5 or 6 instruments all at once. Yeah, you know, Jimmy Page tried it with his double neck guitar, didn't he? So we used to go there and see like little blues bands. And there were some good ones. We always used to go to Salutation. And the reason I want to mention Salutation, this is in Doncaster, is there was a band that played there. And we've seen them there 2 or 3 times called Smith and McGrath Blues Band. And they were chuffing brilliant. One of the best gigs I've seen. Sometimes they did acoustic. Usually in the Salutation, they did acoustic and electric hybrid. We went all the way to York to watch them. And Smith and McGrath at that particular point, they just played acoustic. So me and my dad on one level were a little bit disappointed because we like his electric blues as well. More probably than the acoustic, probably. Although I do love acoustic blues. But they just played acoustic. But we loved it. And we always used to stop at this particular hotel. And every time we went, because we went about 3 or 4 times, every time we got served by the same young gentleman. And he always had something, this is over a quite a long time period, he always had something broke. You know, he had something around his neck. He had a cast on his left arm. He had a cast on his right arm. We walked in one time, no brace, no brakes on his arms. We thought he was all right. He had to go and get us something. Chuffle nobbled around, grabbed his bloody crutches. He's broke his chuffing leg. Every time we went, what were he doing? I don't know. Were he no good with stairs, or were he like a bad, or to give up like kind of riding his push bike? I don't know what we were doing, but every time we went, He was chuffing injured. So we've seen Smith McGrath. But the one I want to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is 2018 Hyde Park gig, and it had, I think on the bill, it was Willie Nelson's son, followed by Doyle Bramall, followed by Steve Winwood, followed by Santana, and then Chuffing Clapton came on, and absolutely ridiculously hot day. And we basically, Alexa's banging on it over home. She's on about so much. She keeps reminding me to do something that I did about 6 months ago. I need to switch it chuffing off, you know. She's showing me chuffing videos. But yeah, we stopped at this little, like an Indian B&B. And in the morning we got curried beans with like kind of something that was meant to represent bacon. But it was quite nice, but it was weird. But it was quite a walk from there to the place. And when we got to Hyde Park, I put no suntan lotion on. I had no hat. T-shirt, so I'm saying to me, I'm going to chuff it burnt to an absolute flaming crisp. But it was so far to get back to the joint, it just weren't worth doing it. So we get to this place and I'm bloody scanning around. I see this chuffy young couple, bloody massaging, bloody creaming to each other, you know what I mean? And I thought, hey, if it's a choice of like embarrassing myself and looking like a complete chuffing planet or burning to a crisp like a flaming overcooked flaming lobster, I'm going to look like a chuffing planet, you know what I mean? So I went up and they were very, very generous. Put more on, you're all right, we don't want to see you, but ended up chuffing buying some because I thought, it only lasts so long, we're going to be here for hours. It started then, it was chuffing bacon, it was unrelenting, it was relentless. So I ended up buying some, they knew, Hyde Park knew, cost me about chuffing 20 quid for a little container that much. And it was like bronze glittery, so I ended up looking like bloody Kim Kardashian's chuffing arse or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, so we got ourselves sorted out. Watch a bit of Willie Nelson, he was good. Watch some chuffing Doyle Bramall. Doyle Bramall had some trouble. Not Doyle Bramall. What's his bloody name now? He's a black dude. He plays a lot with Jimmy Vaughan. Gary Clark. I think his name is. And he was good, but he had trouble with his sound. I think he had trouble with PA or something like that. But he got it sorted out. And great singer, very soulful. He sounds a bit like dude that used to sing with Free. And then we watched Winwood, and he was excellent. Santana was chuffing good. And it got to a point where Eric was coming out. So Eric comes out. And of all the people, so all of a sudden, starting just have a quick slurp. I'm getting Buddy's eyes out of this story. Jesus Christ. Of all the people, just as Eric walks onto the stage, this guy gets in front of us, about chuffing 7 foot tall. And so like chuffing lurch. Gets in front of him, chuffing, looking around his bloody left armpit, his bloody right armpit. Me and my dad's looking at each other, and we're chuffing something. And it's not his fault for being tall. You can't expect him to walk around on his bloody hands and knees, can you? Just for likes of us. It's just genetics, isn't it? But we're still moaning. He heard us. And he just says, where do you want me to stand? He says, everywhere I stand, I'm going to be chuffing, pissing somebody off, you know what I mean? But we managed, we left him. Not his fault. Sorry, mate. We moved to a different area. We started watching the gig. Got behind these chuffing Italians, you know. He's Italian. They're speaking some Italian and speaking some English. I'm not saying they're not wrong with him, but they've been on chuffing Dolby and all sorts. They were coked up and potted up and all sorts. And they're just waffling. All the flame tech were about 3 or 4 songs in, and they're chuffing waffling. And it's louder than music. They're blowing Eric off chuffing staying. It's all bloody this that I'm flaming over. My dad, he's not as like kind of chilled out as me, as relaxed as me. He starts giving me that look like this. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's going to be some chuffing shoulder. He ends up tapping this Italian who we're on chuffing shoulder. The Italian dude turns around, look at that bloody Robert De Niro. Oh, my dad says, excuse me. He says, are you going to be flaming rabbiting all the way through the gig? He says, we're big fans of Mr. Clapton. We've come here from miles away to see him. We're big fans. Are you going to keep rattling all the way through? Are you going to keep rattling? And this guy will probably... At that time, he was in his 30s, you know what I mean? He weren't too old. My dad was well into his 60s at this point. And a lot of Italians, you know, credit where credit, I like Italian people. They're big on the family and they are respectful to the elders. But at first, I started shaping up. If he kicks off, I don't know how it's going to go. I might have to land this Italian one chuffing on. And we'll get kicked out and I might get my head kicked in, but you got to defend your dad, haven't you? You know what I mean? And he'd had hip operation. It might have been just before his hip operation. I can't remember now. But... yeah, so basically it cooled down, it chilled down. There were no like kind of massive chuffing trouble off that. And afterwards they were like, he was in front, my dad was there, and then behind us was this other Italian dude who was obviously associated with it, you know what I mean? And he went like kind of, oh, excuse me, to me dad, can I just pass that to him over there? But they're polite after that. So you know what I mean? They listen to the older chuffing generation and all that kind of stuff. Watched the gig. Very, very excellent. Eric played well. He did one solo. I weren't massively fussed with some at set lists. Some of his playing was a bit uninspired, but he did Got to Get Better in a Little While. And he cut loose on, I sometimes still watch it on YouTube to this day, that exact same song. Because it's filmed, that Hyde Park 2008 is filmed. Check it out. Eric Clapton, Hyde Park, Got to Get Better in a Little While. And he cuts loose on this solo, and he just brought it out of flaming nowhere. You can see Doyle Bramall, who's the other guitar player, smiling as if that's Clapton. That is Clapton. Best solo of the day. Just pulled it out the bag. And that is the magic of that guy. You just don't know what you're going to get. But when you get it, even to this day, I'm going to see him later on this year, even to this day, when he hits it, he chuffing kicks it. You know what I mean? Great. One of the all-time great guitar players, Mr. Clapton. I bore people to death about him, flaming time, chuffing slow and this, slow and that. You know what I mean? Me and my dad, we were chuffing beers though, was where he was concerned. So we watched this great gig. Now, at the end, neither me and my dad were good with chuffing directions. We took a couple of photographs to try and like get his memory up to chuffing speed, but we got pushed out at a different point. So we're asking bloody cops and we're asking this and asking that, and we finally got back to where we'd initially come in. But it was still a decent walk, but not too far a walk. If you went around, me and my dad, we're going around in flames. Never put us in a maze together. We'd still be there now, but we're wandering around bloody streets. And my dad at that point, you know, he was getting old, probably had some of the condition that took him out of the game, probably a little bit of that coming on. Bad knees, bad hip, been baking his chuffing poor head off all day. And he got to this point, he got pretty desperate. And he said, I've had enough. You know, I kind of half collapsed. I seen this rickshaw driver come up, and it was an Indian gentleman with chuffing saber on his clothes, looked better than me. He come up and I says, oh, hey, is there any chance you can like get us back to this chuffing bed of breakfast set for, you know what I mean? And he said, oh, it'd be like 25 quid or 20 quid or something. And my dad, even though he was chuffing desperate, he went, forget it. Like he's gonna like chuffing sleep on seat or crawl back or something. This Indian guy, God bless it, I don't know who you are. The likelihood of you watching this flaming show, you've got more chance of winning the chuffing national lottery. But if for some kind of strange fluke of coming togetherness of the chuffing heavens, if you happen to watch this bloody episode, thank you. He basically said, look, he says, I'm not going to see him out on the street like this. He says, get your chuffing asses on here. He says, pay me or don't pay me, I don't care. And it was a 10-minute cycle. And he was going like a bar, flaming out. Finally dropped us off. And I said to him, you know, what shall we give you? And he said, look, give me something or give me nothing. I don't care. I just got to be of service. And I think we've managed to scrape together about $14.50 or something. But that guy, thank you, chuffing, very much. But yeah, some great memories with me chuffing old man. And yeah, it's that point now where sometimes you think about it and you get upset, and sometimes you think about it, it just makes you so happy and you're chuffing out that you knew the guy, you know. So I'm in a good mood now. Spoke about my old man, he's drinking his chuffing whiskey out of his bloody container. If you're listening, if you're chuffing floating around in chuffing stratosphere somewhere, Archibald, love you, God bless you. Now, you lot, thanks for chuffing watching. Have a chuffing great day and a great life, and I'll catch you later on for probably a chuffing midweek, chuffing cheeky quick shots. You know what I mean? See you later, sweetheart.